Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Am I audible? Today's editorial is all about US presidential elections, again related to polity and what is the enrichment. Today, unfortunately, I could not bring the mock test, and you're going to work only on the editorial analysis. You're going to improve your reading skill related to polity and you're going to improve your comprehension skill, you will get an idea about the US presidential elections. And vocabulary enrichment, there are about 15 words, but you get more words as usual. Thanks for responding. I have a sore throat. I may sound a bit different, but as long as I'm audible, that should be okay. Grammar consolidation, writing skill. If you write about this, in brief, you cannot write elaborately. You will be able to improve your writing skill. One or two sentences should be enough. Let us start with the editorial vocabulary. The very first one I use this quite often, back to square one. I usually tell students while preparing for competitive exams, first you learn something. You go to a master, you learn the concepts. Same day, you have to read your notes. And after that, the most important thing, you have to revise because there's so much you have to learn, so many subjects, so much information. You have to revise regularly. And many students, they keep learning. They don't get enough time to revise. Based on that, I tell students, if you don't revise regularly, it is after 3 months, you forget whatever you learn. Then it is like back to square one. I use one more idiom, same meaning, back to the pavilion. Back to square one, back to the pavilion. What do they mean? Back to where one started with no progress having been made. Imagine the first day you did not know anything about nouns. You went to some institute, you went to some master, and first day nothing about nouns, but you learned and you did not revise. After 1 month, nothing will be there. First day, no information. After 1 month, also no information. That means what? Back to square one. In this context, you may wonder what is back to square one? It is about the US presidential elections. Last time it was between Trump and Biden. Now the upcoming one is also between them. In that sense, back to square one, a familiar fight. Articulate an important word, articulation. It goes with speech, the way of speaking. Part of speech, verb, able to express thoughts and feelings easily and clearly. More than easily, I would say clearly. Some people speak very clearly. Then we say he's a very good articulator. He knows how to articulate his thoughts. Incumbent, we have got many a time, part of speech, noun. The holder of an office. It can also be an adjective. Incumbent CM, then it changes to adjective. The one who is holding power, the one who is in office. Revert important because part of speech verb. First we'll see the meaning. To come or go back. You may ask, sir, why is it important? In English, there is one important topic, exam point of view. We call it redundancy. We also say superfluous. Redundancy means what? Unnecessary use of words. They go with common errors. A lot of people say return back. And if you take the private sector, a lot of people say, I will revert back to you. Both are wrong. Return means to come back. Revert also means to come or go back. Based on that, we cannot say return back or revert back. This you have to remember. And one more, a lot of people say repeat again. Answer my question, is this right or wrong? Repeat again. Repeat means to say again. You should not say repeat again. That is also a common error that goes with redundancy. A familiar word, viable. We have a lot of government officials, prospective bankers on this platform. You all need this word, but there is one combination you have to know. It is wrong. Good. And I appreciate your response. Why is it important? Tomorrow you become a bank manager. Someone approaches you with a project for loan. Before you sanction the loan, one thing you keep in mind, that is commercial viability. Commercial viability is very important. If the project you feel it is not going to be commercially viable, you will not sanction the loan. Commercial viability, commercially viable means a feasible. What does it mean? Feasible. Capable of working, functioning, or developing adequately. Viable means feasible, one word you can remember, but something that has the potential to develop. Then we say a viable project, an important word. Unprecedented, we have got many a time. Please listen to the analysis. Unprecedented, without previous instance. Unprecedented, without previous instance. This we have got so many times. And you don't maintain proper language, the way you ask, no respect, nothing. I told you not to attend, come on to this platform. I don't know why you're still here. I think I have to block you. The quality of being extremely thorough and careful, severity or strictness. Ashish Sharma, please don't attend my sessions. Don't purchase my course. I don't entertain students like you who don't maintain manners and etiquette and who don't know how to respect the masters. I will not take you as a student. Please don't attend these sessions also. That is my advice to you. Don't waste your time on this platform. Don't waste my time. Don't waste others' time. I have last time also I told I thought of blocking you, but I neglected. Now I think I should do that. Rigorous. There is one word, rigorous. Rigorous training. That's a familiar combination. But here rigors, rigor singular, rigors plural, used part of speech noun. But when we say rigorous training, adjective, the quality of being extremely thorough and careful, severity or strictness. Something is very strict, a rigorous training. Stature also we have got many a time. The good reputation of a person or organization has based on their behavior and ability. Someone has a good stature means what? A very good image, a very good reputation. He is a man of stature. It goes below my stature. It doesn't go with my stature. These are the typical expressions you have to know. Charisma, charismatic, an important word, it goes with politics. Compelling attractiveness. Compel means to force. Compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. What it means in a simple way, in a nutshell, when you see some leaders, especially, you get attracted, you're drawn to them. Then we say he is a charismatic leader. And I usually tell students it is nothing but magnetic personality, attractive, highly attractive. He is a leader. A lot of people get attracted to him or attracted to her. Then magnetic personality, charismatic leader, that is a combination. Turnout has two or three meanings. One meaning how something transforms or changes or over a period of time, how it develops. One meaning. Another meaning, turnout. Imagine there's a major event in this context, elections. A lot of people they turn up. You can also think of they show up. That means they cast the vote. Then we say the turnout. What was the turnout? Means how many people attended, how many people used the voting right. The number of people who participate in or attend an event. What was the turnout? How was the turnout? These are the typical questions. It's a phrasal verb. And you have to recollect these two as well. Turn up, show up goes with an individual. Turnout goes with a lot of people. Conspiracy, a simple word, and we have got many a time. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. A group of people try to plan something that is negative. Conspiracy. Partisan, we have got many a time. Not exactly a verb, it could be an adjective. Partisan politics. A strong supporter of a party, cause, or person. Then we use this word. Undergird, we have got this for the first time. Provide support or a firm basis for. Provide support to someone or something. Undergird. We don't use regularly, we have got for the first time. Embrace, we have got many a time. To welcome something with open arms, hold something, hug something, accept completely. Usually it goes with a policy. You accept a policy, embrace a policy, and you start implementing. Paradigm also, we have got many a time, part of speech noun. A very clear or typical example used as a model. You can also think of words like standard, a model, a standard, a typical example. And here there's one important word you have to recollect, that is epitome. Epitome. Now, the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial is about the state of the 2024 US presidential election, focusing on the fact that it appears to be shaping up, turning out to be a rematch between incumbent President Joe Biden, the present president of the US, and former President Donald Trump. The tone of the editorial is somewhat critical and reflective. This is an important word. Reflect upon something means what? Already we have got so many times words you have to recollect. Contemplate, pensive mood. I'm giving a combination word. Introspect, brood over, dwell on. These two go with past. All these words you have to recollect. Paragon, epitome, very good, Divya. Let us see how it starts. Square one. Here, square one. Ponder. Yes, ponder. Very Naidu, Paidi. Very good. Ponder. Square one. But actually, back to square one means what? Back to the starting point. What happened in the past? Same thing. More or less the same thing. On the 2024 US presidential election as a Biden Trump rematch. What is the main idea? Today, if you look at Joe Biden, he is 81, pretty old. And Donald Trump, he is also 78 or 79, and a lot of cases against him. Keeping the present, looking at the present scenario, both Republicans and Democrats need alternative voices to articulate their vision, to say or present their vision clearly. They need new leadership. They need new leaders. New voices means alternative voices means alternative leaders, not the same old people. With the exit of Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina, from the US Republican nomination race for the 2024 presidential election, the country is now set to witness a rematch. Yes, very good. I appreciate. A rematch of the 2020 contest between the incumbent President Joe Biden and his challenger, former President Donald Trump. I hope my voice is, you're able to follow. I sound entirely different today because of the sore throat. I hope it is clear enough for you to understand. Please respond. With the exit of Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina, from the US Republican nomination race for the 2024 presidential election, something has been set. The country is now set to witness a rematch. What happened in the previous elections? A rematch of the 2020 contest between the incumbent right now, who is in power, who is the present president of the US. Then it's okay. President Joe Biden, we use the term incumbent. Thank you. Thanks for the response. Any problem, let me know. And his challenger, former President Donald Trump. And all of you, please have a look at the comment box. Some students have been contributing. Vocabulary point of view, grammar point of view. Have a quick glance and take a pick. You can definitely, that information is useful. Like Tripura Sundari, Divya, and some more students, they have been doing that. Again, the same old contest. What is that same old contest between Biden and Donald Trump? It is hardly a surprise, an important word. Tell me, why is it important? There are two words you have to recollect. One, hard. Hard can be adjective, can be adverb. It is a hard nut. In this example, adjective. He works hard. In this example, adverb. But there's another word, hardly. This is a negative word. That is only an adverb. He hardly works means what? He doesn't work in the real sense. It has a negative connotation, and you got to be careful. It is hardly a surprise. What does it mean? It is not a surprise in the real sense. It is hardly a surprise that the contest has reverted, went back to this match up yet again, given that they're the only two leaders who have made the cut as viable candidates, feasible candidates for their respective parties over the many months on the campaign trail. Again, trail, you have to recollect two words. One, trial, trail, the path. In this context, trail. Trial goes with courts, a legal case. It talks about the same thing. Again, the match between Biden and Trump. And what is the reason behind? In those parties, the parties don't have strong leaders, alternative voices missing. Based on that, these two candidates emerged viable candidates as viable candidates. The two parties, the US elections, a two-party system, the Republicans, the Democrats. It has to talk about both the parties. On the Republican side, you can also say on the Republican front, Ms. Haley likely reflected the hopes of some among those who stood for the conservative values. At some point, people thought she would be the candidate for the post of president, and some hopes were there. Haley likely reflected the hopes of some among those who stood for conservative values of the Republican Party mainstream, which is facing an unprecedented challenge from Mr. Trump and his nativist populist style of politics. There are two important terms you have to learn, you have to know. One is conservative. Generally, we use words like traditional, modern, traditional lifestyle, following the traditions, and opposite, modern lifestyle. But when it comes to traditions, very traditional, then too traditional, we use a term conservative. Conservative, in a way, has a negative connotation. Closed mind, conservative people. They're not willing to change. Closed mind, conservative. We use another word, orthodox. All these words you have to recollect. Orthodox, exactly. And too orthodox, too traditional, conservative. Conservative goes with the politics, society, mindset, attitude. And one more word here, nativist populist. Trump talks about making America great again, making American dream, bring back the American dream. And he prefers native populist style of politics. There's nothing like actual Americans because the US is known as, I don't know how many of you know, melting pot. Have you heard of this? The US is known as land of dreams. One expression, land of dreams. You have a dream, you go to the US, make your dream come true. Land of dreams. It is also known as a melting pot. What is the reason? If you take this US, the original inhabitants, I'm going to use a few important words. I'll go to the previous slide. Or the next, I'll write here. First, you have to know the word inhabitants. Original inhabitants, people who live in a particular region. For them, we use simple word native people. You can also think of the word local people and an important word indigenous people. And if you take indigenous people of Australia, there's a specific term you can use for others also, aboriginals. Original inhabitants, native people, indigenous people, aboriginals, they all go with. And if you take more or less the same, if you take the US, the original inhabitants, Red Indians, these people, the US belongs to North America, belongs to Red Indians. Today, you see white people on the mainland, they're all immigrants from European countries, many European countries. But still, today they consider themselves to be native people, original people of the US. This sentence talks about two problems or two dimensions. One is conservative values of the Republican Party, and the second one, native populist style of politics that goes with Mr. Trump. Nevertheless, an important contrasting word, however, voters at the primaries and caucuses, these two go with the American presidential election, clearly leaned towards, means bent towards, went in the direction of Mr. Trump, means they supported Mr. Trump, perhaps under the assumption that he had left behind at the end of his term in the Oval Office an unfinished political agenda to make America great again. Why some people or a lot of Republican Party members supported Donald Trump, one of the reasons could be usually, if you take the US presidential election, any candidate can become the US president only two terms. There's no third term. Third term not allowed. And usually they get the second term also. First time they become the president, Second time also, the same candidate becomes a president. But in the case of Donald Trump, it did not happen. First time he became the president, second time highly controversial. He could not become. Joe Biden became, and now he is trying. And because he could get only one term, perhaps the party members must have thought, or might have thought, he has got something to finish, and the agenda is not complete. The work is not complete. So let us give a chance. That could be, it is an assumption. However, voters at the primaries and caucuses clearly lean towards Mr. Trump, perhaps under the assumption that he had left behind at the end of his first term in the Oval Office an unfinished political agenda. What is this political agenda? To make America great again. Now, coming to the other party on the Democratic side, at 81 years of age, it is Mr. Biden's ability to yet again an important live up to live up to the standards, live up to the expectations, means meet the standards. I hope I read this one. 81, not that easy. It is going to be an uphill task for Mr. Biden. On the Democratic side, at 81 years of age, it is Mr. Biden's ability to yet again live up to the rigors of being in office, the strictness, the severity of being in office, that remains a question mark. It's a big question mark. Even among the party faithful, and if you take any party, there are some party members that are highly faithful. Those people also doubt. For them also, it's a question mark. Can he face at the age of 81, once he becomes the president for the second time, plus four? That means he'll be 81 to 85. Can he face the rigors of being in office? Can he face the rigors of being the president of the US? That's $1 million question. Yet another contrasting word, more worrying from the perspective of the long-term prospects of the Democratic Party, is the fact is that there has been no other leader from among their ranks with a national stature and sufficient charisma to navigate the party through an election in which they are challenged by the likes of Mr. Trump. A lengthy sentence, but what it says, another factor is worrying factor. One is Biden factor because of his age. Another worrying factor, right now, if you look at the Democratic Party, they don't have a very strong leader or a charismatic leader who of national stature, means at the national level, he or she be should attract a lot of people. There's no person like that. If at all there is a person with national stature, a charismatic personality, he or she will be able to face challenges by candidates like Mr. Trump, who are very strong. While polls have given Mr. Trump a robust lead over Mr. Biden, usually whenever there are elections, they conduct polls before elections, after elections, exit polls, all these. While polls have given Mr. Trump, recent polls have given Mr. Trump a robust lead, a very strong lead over Mr. Biden. At this stage in the election cycle, the outcome of the political clash between the two men will depend on factors such as voter turnout, the preferences of independent voters in swing states, and the impact that many legal cases against Mr. Trump could have on his ability to campaign and persuade voters that he is a victim of a conspiracy by the Democrats. What it says, at this stage, Trump is in a good situation. He has got a robust lead. But the editorial opines there are three factors going to decide the outcome. One, voter turnout. Second one, the preferences of independent voters in swing states. They make a they make or break the election result. And the third one, the impact of the cases against Mr. Trump, and based on the cases against him, how he is going to convince the public that it is a conspiracy by the Democrats and that is he is innocent. The absence of alternative leadership, coming to the main idea, the absence of alternative leadership in both parties beyond the two current contestants suggests that politics in America hasn't moved past pre existing conditions of partisan deadlock. Still, it is the same old situation. No new leaders are not emerging. It reflects, it has not gone beyond, has not moved past means has not moved beyond pre existing conditions of partisan deadlock, even though it is abundantly clear that business as usual politics does not serve the US's national interest. Something is abundantly clear. What is abundantly clear? Business as usual politics does not serve the US's national interest. They're not going to accept that business as usual politics. It does not. It is not good for them. It does not serve the US's national interest. The best that the country could hope for. What is that the country could hope for? The best that the country could hope for in the next election cycle, perhaps, is for alternative voices within both parties to articulate a new vision undergirding the American dream, forming a strong basis for American dream, a brand of leadership that embraces the new paradigm of national and global politics today. The main idea is being reiterated. What it says, the old school has to move on, and we need new leaders with new voices, and these new voices or the new leaders should articulate a new vision undergirding or forming a strong basis for the American dream, and a brand leadership that embraces a new paradigm, a new model, a new standard of national and global politics today. That's all about this editorial. Please answer the questions based on this editorial to improve your comprehension skill. What is the primary focus of the editorial? Whenever you read a question, focus on the key words. Yes, eloquent, effective, coherent, wonderful. What is the primary focus of the editorial? Critiquing the policies of President Joe Biden, analyzing the outcome of the 2024 US presidential election, discussing the departure of Nikki Haley from the Republican nomination race, examining the lack of alternative leadership with American politics. It's all about a lack of alternative leadership. According to the editorial, what factor contributes to the dominance of Donald Trump within the Republican Party? How come Donald Trump, again the presidential candidate on behalf of the Republican Party, what is a factor that contributed? Overwhelming support from mainstream Republican figures, public endorsement from Nikki Haley, a resurgence of conservative values, the absence of viable alternatives. More or less the same idea is no, not C. The absence of viable alternatives. No leaders in that party. That is the main idea. That goes with both the parties. It also goes with the Republican Party. The absence of viable alternatives. What concern does the editorial raise regarding President Joe Biden's candidacy? One is his age factor, his advanced age and ability to handle the demands of the presidency. His lack of support, no. His failure to address, his inability to articulate. No, the basic problem here, yes, some students have got it right. Anil Kumar, Rajashekar, Tirupati Rao. D is the answer, question number 2. But here, question number 3, A is the answer. His advanced age and ability to handle the demands of the presidency. He is already 81. He cannot, the opinion, it is not easy to face the rigors of the presidency. Not at all easy. According to the editorial, what is needed for positive change in American politics? Increased polarization? No. A return to business as usual politics? That is not good for the US. Alternative voices articulating a new vision, maintaining the current status quo. The main idea, alternative voices articulating a new vision. That's what America needs. What does the editorial suggest is a determining factor in the outcome of the 2024 US presidential election? Yes, 4C is the answer. Very good. And the editorial talks about three different factors. What are those factors? Not one factor. One is voter turnout. Second is preferences of independent voters from swing states and legal cases against Trump. The three factors. That's all for today. I could not bring the mock because I have a sore throat. This also I had to do it. I didn't want to give a break. I did it with great difficulty. Because of the feedback, I continued. Otherwise, I would have stopped midway. There's no clarity in the voice. I sound entirely different. Anyhow, thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. Have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. And do remember